As soon as she lets it in, it cannot go for more than 90 seconds. Am I clear?
What happens after 90 seconds?
Don't want to stay.
Spotty should kick him out. They get weaker the longer they're in here.
It hasn't.
Give it time.
They're killing him.
This is my series to dissect films, not just whether they're good or bad, but why they land the way they do, and why audiences defend them so fiercely, and why some movies leave people unsettled in ways they don't immediately understand. This is where hype meets honesty, and where discomfort usually lives longer than praise. Talk to Me is one of those movies that people rush to recommend with urgency. They don't say it's fun. They don't say it's rewatchable. They say things like, "It messed me up," or "It stuck with me," or "You need to see it before it gets spoiled." That language matters. It signals that this movie is operating less as entertainment and more as an experience. And that's exactly where the tension begins. Talk to Me is not a movie people casually dislike. When someone rejects it, the reaction is almost defensive. The praise comes wrapped in seriousness, as if enjoying it proves something about your taste. When a horror film earns that kind of reverence, it invites scrutiny, because reverence and fear are not the same thing.
And take that to the bank.
This is a movie that wants to feel dangerous, not in a slasher sense, not in a spectacle sense, but in a psychological sense. It wants to convince you that curiosity itself is the trap, that participation is the sin, and that once you cross a certain line, you don't get to step back unchanged. And for a lot of people, that works. But for others, it doesn't. And that gap is where this movie lives. Enter directors Danny and Michael Filippo, tasked with sharing their terrifying vision with the whole world. The question is, would fans see the genius of it, or would they be haunted by it more than Mia was as she was seeing visions and losing her goddamn mind? Let's get down to brass tacks. So get ready to hang out with a creepy-looking cursed embalmed hand. Tell demonic spirits that you'll let them in. And never trust what you see, because there's no way that anything good will come from a ghost that is suggesting that you should punch your friend's ticket. Here are the reasons why you hate Talk to Me. Number 1, story. The directors credit Causeway Films for being a big help from the script stage forward, adding that, quote, "They helped us take it out to the market and get rejected by every Hollywood studio," end quote.
Hold up, well then there, motherfuckers!
Apparently, one of the big studios did say yes, but they wanted to change the film too much. They wanted the film to explain the hand's power and offer more details behind what it can do, why it can do it, and how. Danny and Michael were offered a high sum to remake the film in America with a big budget, but they declined. Their mission is to make most of their films either exclusively in Australia or at least to have the visual effects done in their home country.
Oh, you're right. And when you're right, you're right.
The directors drew inspiration from Ingmar Bergman's Hour of the Wolf from 1968, as far as having characters look directly into the camera. Fans keep thinking it's drawn more from Jordan Peele's Get Out from 2017. The directors say Peele's film is not a bad movie to be compared to. Talk to Me wastes no time establishing its central idea. This is not a story about haunting houses, ancient curses, or long-buried secrets. This is a story about a game, a ritual disguised as a dare, something passed around casually, filmed on phones, shared at parties, and stripped of consequence through repetition. The hand is introduced not as a sacred artifact, but as an object of spectacle. It is handled, joked about, commodified. Big mistake. The rules are simple, spoken quickly, and treated with performative seriousness rather than reverence. The casual tone is intentional, though. The story understands that danger is most effective when it is normalized. The narrative centers on Mia, a teenage girl suspended in unresolved grief. Her mother's death is not a mystery to be solved, but a wound that has never properly closed. The story does not frame her pain as melodramatic or exceptional. It frames it as quiet, persistent, and isolating. That emotional baseline is crucial because Talk to Me is not about possession in the traditional sense. It is about vulnerability. The story unfolds in a rhythm that mirrors addiction. The first contact is shocking but controlled. The second is exhilarating. By the third, restraint is gone. Each use of the hand escalates not because the spirits become stronger, but because the characters become less cautious. The film understands that the real threat is not the supernatural, but the erosion of boundaries. What separates Talk to Me from traditional possession narratives is its refusal to externalize blame. There is no ancient evil orchestrating events from the shadows. There is no malevolent mastermind that's pulling the strings. The spirits are opportunistic, not strategic. The danger comes from invitation, not intrusion. And as the story progresses, the rules begin to blur, not because the hand changes, but because the characters stop respecting the limits. What was once a controlled ritual becomes an emotional crutch. The hand is no longer about curiosity, it becomes about escape, about connection, about filling a void that real relationships cannot reach. This is where the story earns its reputation for discomfort. The supernatural elements are unsettling, but they are not the core horror. The horror is watching characters knowingly make worse decisions because the alternative is emotional emptiness. The story does not judge them for this. It observes them. Talk to Me structures its narrative around escalation without relief. There are no narrative resets. Each choice compounds the last. The film does not offer moments of safety or false resolution. Once the boundary between the living and the dead is breached, the story treats it as permanently compromised. Importantly, the story resists over-explanation. The origins of the hand are irrelevant. The rules are not debated academically. This absence of lore frustrates many viewers, and I understand that. But it is essential to the film's true intent.
We're fine!
Knowledge is not power here. Knowledge is exposure. The less you know, the safer you might be. But the story acknowledges that safety is rarely appealing. As Mia's connection to the spirits deepens, the narrative begins to change a little bit. The perception becomes unreliable. Emotional truth overrides factual truth. The story does not announce this shift. It lets the audience experience it alongside with her. What is real becomes less important than what feels real, and that distinction is where the film tightens its grip. Talk to Me's story is deceptively simple. There are no sprawling subplots, no mythological detours, no franchise ambitions. Everything feeds back into a single idea that grief makes people porous, and porous people are easy to enter. The supernatural is not a metaphor layered on top of this idea. It is the mechanism that exposes it. By the time the story reaches its breaking point, the audience is not asking how to stop the haunting. They are asking whether stopping it is even possible without destroying what remains of the self. That question lingers because the film refuses to answer it cleanly, and that refusal is where admiration and resentment begin to diverge. Number 2. Characters. Talk to Me lives or dies on its characters. Because the film removes traditional antagonists almost entirely. There is no villain with intention, no force that can be confronted directly. What exists instead is a network of people making choices that feel emotionally honest and ethically hollow. The horror does not come from who these characters are, but from how easily they slide past responsibility. Mia sits at the center of the film, and she is deliberately difficult to like in a conventional way. That said, this is Sophie Wilde's first major film, and she was phenomenal. Her character is not written to be charming, nor particularly warm. She is reactive, withdrawn, and often selfish in her need for connection. The film does not soften these qualities or justify them overtly. Instead, it frames them as a natural byproduct of unresolved grief. Mia is not broken in a cinematic sense. She is stalled, emotionally frozen at the moment of loss, unable to move forward while everyone else appears to have continued living. What makes Mia compelling is not her suffering, but her desperation to feel something that resembles closeness. Her attraction to the hand is not driven by thrill-seeking alone. It is driven by the promise of contact. The spirits offer her voices that respond, faces that acknowledge her, and sensations that overwhelm the numbness that she has been living with. The film never suggests that Mia believes that this is healthy. It suggests that she believes it is necessary. This is where the audience's relationship with Mia fractures. Some viewers empathize deeply with her choices because they recognize the emotional logic behind them. Others grow frustrated with her because the danger is so apparent, and it really was right in your face.
And you blew it! You blew it!
The film does not intervene to reconcile that divide. It allows both reactions to coexist, which makes Mia feel real rather than designed for approval. The supporting characters function less as individuals and more as reflections of social pressure. Jade, Mia's closest connection, embodies the uncomfortable space between care and neglect. She is not cruel, but she is inattentive in ways that matter. Her concern for Mia is genuine, but it is consistently overridden by her desire to maintain normalcy. Jade represents the kind of friend who assumes that time alone heals wounds, not realizing that absence can deepen them. Jade's mother introduces a quieter but more damaging form of detachment. She is kind, patient, and well-meaning, yet fundamentally unequipped to recognize the depth of Mia's pain. Her role in the film underscores one of the Talk to Me's most unsettling ideas, that safety does not always come from good intentions. Sometimes it comes from understanding, and understanding is harder than kindness. The younger characters, particularly Riley, exist as catalysts rather than decision makers. They are not corrupted by curiosity so much as they are pulled into it by proximity. The film treats youth not as innocence, but as exposure. Riley's vulnerability is not rooted in ignorance, but in trust. He believes that the people around him know what they are doing, and that belief becomes his undoing. Riley's possession scene was an emotionally draining one, to the point that actor Joe Bird would need time both before and after, away from the cast and crew, to collect himself. It was also physically draining, for obvious reasons. What Talk to Me does remarkably well is avoid turning its characters into mouthpieces for morality. No one delivers speeches about consequences. No one stands in as the voice of reason long enough to matter. This absence is intentional. The film understands that peer-driven danger rarely announces itself with opposition. It thrives on silence, on half-hearted objections, and the assumption that someone else will step in. The character's biggest failure is not recklessness, it's the diffusion of responsibility. Each person participates just enough to feel included, but not enough to feel accountable. When things begin to unravel, blame has nowhere to land. This is not because the film avoids judgment, but because it recognizes how easily responsibility evaporates in group settings. Even the spirits, when filtered through character interaction, reflect this ambiguity. They are not portrayed as masterminds or predators with clear personalities. They mimic, manipulate, and mirror emotional needs. Their power comes not from force, but from permission. The characters invite them in repeatedly, despite mounting evidence that the cost is too high. What ultimately makes Talk to Me's characters unsettling is how familiar they feel. These are not the average run-of-the-mill horror figures. They are emotionally careless in the way people often are, especially when confronted with pain they do not know how to fix. The film does not punish them for malice, it punishes them for avoidance. Number 3. Ritual. The ritual in Talk to Me is not frightening because it is ancient, forbidden, or visually grotesque. It is frightening because it is casual. It is treated less like a summoning and more like a party trick, something passed around, filmed, laughed at, and shared. The film understands that danger becomes invisible when it's normalized, and the hand is normalized almost immediately. There is a deliberate lack of ceremony in how the ritual is introduced. The rules are recited quickly, almost dismissively, as if they are part of a game rather than safeguards against catastrophe. This tone is crucial though. The hand is not framed as sacred or ominous. It is framed as accessible. Anyone can do it. Everyone is doing it, and you can too. That accessibility strips the ritual of fear and replaces it with true temptation.
Give me all you got!
Listen,
Give me all you got!
No character announces that they need the hand. They simply keep returning to it, justifying each use as manageable, brief, and harmless. The ritual's power lies in how it blurs boundaries. It does not just allow spirits to speak, it allows them to linger. The countdown becomes less about time and more about denial. Characters know when they should stop, but stopping feels arbitrary when nothing immediate goes wrong. The film understands the consequences rarely arrive when they are expected. They arrive when vigilance has already eroded. Another critical aspect of the ritual is how it rewards vulnerability. The spirits respond most intensely to those who are emotionally open, not because they're weaker, but because they are searching. The hand does not force itself on anyone, it's waiting for the invitation. This transforms possession from an act of violence into an act of consent, and that shift is very unsettling. The film avoids explaining where the spirits come from or what they want in any traditional sense. This is not a mythology-driven ritual, and the lack of the origin is also very important. It reinforces the idea that the ritual isn't about summoning something specific, but about opening a door without understanding what might walk through it. By the time the ritual's consequence becomes undeniable, the damage has already been done. The door has been opened too many times. The boundary has been crossed too often. The ritual has reshaped perception, and perception cannot simply be undone.
Oh, shit.
Talk to Me understands that the most dangerous rituals are not the ones that demand sacrifice up front. They are the ones that offer connection first and extract the payment later. Let's take a look at the official Why You Hate body count, shall we? We have 3 confirmed deaths in Talk to Me. They are Duckett, Rhea, and Mia. Number 4, finale. The sequence where Mia goes to hell was originally 2.5 minutes long. The directors said, "We shot so much violent stuff, it felt too far." They decided to show it just in flashes and glimpses, which made the producers happy, and some of the stuff probably wouldn't have passed the censor board. The scenes were filmed wide with a stand-in for Joe Bird so as not to traumatize him, and then the close-ups the next day with a more restrained ensemble. The finale of Talk to Me does not arrive with spectacle, it arrives with narrowing options. By the time the film reaches its final moment, the question is no longer how to stop what has been unleashed, but how much damage has already been absorbed into the self. The film understands that the most honest endings are not explosive, they are isolating. There is absolutely no doubt on the planet that the finale is so bleak, so sad, and makes the hairs on your neck stand up. It's the type of film that lingers in your mind. It sure did for me, for a long time after the credits rolled. As the events in the finale converge, the story refuses to grant the audience any type of comfort or certainty. Perception fractures quietly. What appears to be reality is filtered through emotional need, guilt, and fear. The film does not announce this shift or clarify it through exposition. It allows the audience to experience disorientation as a byproduct of attachment rather than confusion. The result is an ending that feels personal rather than mechanical. Mia's final choices are not framed as heroic or redemptive. They are framed as consistent. Every single thing that she does in this movie and in the finale aligns with the emotional logic that has guided her from the beginning. She does not suddenly gain insight or restraint. She acts out of desperation to preserve connection, even when that connection has become indistinguishable from harm. The film does not punish her for this. It simply follows the trajectory to its conclusion. What makes the finale divisive is its refusal to resolve grief in a way that feels instructive. There is no lesson delivered cleanly, no moral recovery arc. The film rejects the idea that suffering must produce growth. Instead, it presents grief as something that can consume identity when it is not shared or acknowledged. The supernatural elements fall away in importance as the emotional consequences take center stage. The final moments reframe the entire experience without undermining it. The story does not invalidate what came before, nor does it explain it away. This is why the final image lingers differently depending on the viewer. Some see it as tragic, others see it as cruel, others see it as inevitable. The film offers no guidance either way. It trusts the audience to sit with the discomfort without being told what to feel, and that trust is very risky. It denies the catharsis that horror often promises. It does not turn pain into spectacle or wisdom. It turns it into isolation. It leaves you alone with the understanding that some doors, once opened, do not close loudly. They simply shut you out. Talk to Me does not ask whether curiosity is dangerous. It assumes that it is. It asks whether connection without responsibility is survivable. And its answer is not a warning. It is a consequence. That is why the film stays with people, and that is why some wish it wouldn't.
Give me all you got! Give me all you got!
At the end of the day, Talk to Me gave us a much different type of vision for a possession film that was as beyond bleak as you could ever imagine, and we as fans must deal with it. You have to ask yourself, was this a film that you enjoyed, something that you would recommend to someone else, or is it just too damn sad? That is a question only you can answer. As always, this video is not here to make you love Talk to Me or to hate it. It's simply a discussion to highlight the history and aspects of it, good or bad, with you, the viewer. So what do you think? Are you a fan? If so, let us know why. If not, let's discuss why you hate Talk to Me. If you haven't hit the like button for more content, please do. If you're not subscribed to the Night Watch Zone, this is the time to do it and become part of this fantastic movie community where you'll never love and talk about movies the same. If you like this video, check out all of my other Why You Hate videos and other content, including live streams here, and I'll see you there. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.